Prynhawn da pawb and croeso ac coginio ar y hyd. Hello everyone and welcome to the cook along. My name is Richard and today we're going to be making some wonderful, super delicious courgette and tomato muffins, which are ideal as a healthy snack, but more importantly, ideal as a little healthy lunchbox item afterwards. And I'm going to show you how they can fit into making a nice minion style healthy lunchbox. So let me start off with the ingredients that I've got there, and I can then show you how to make these. So these are the ingredients for our little courgette muffins. If we're doing courgette, we're obviously going to be using a courgette just there, and it's half a courgette for this. This one was quite large from the garden this morning because we've got lots growing in our garden at the moment. They're having babies all the time. So we've got that one just there. We've also got the tomato flavour of our courgette courgette muffins there, and those are some sun-dried tomatoes which I got from the local supermarket, which are jam-packed full of flavour as well, and I promise you these are absolutely delicious. We've got a little bit of our mature flavoured cheese. In addition to that, we have got 150 grams of plain flour, which I'm going to add some baking powder to in a couple of moments. But if you haven't got plain flour and you've got self-raising in the cupboard, just use self-raising is even better. We've also got the obligatory mixed herbs, we've got the obligatory parsley, and we've got some vegetable oil as well, and I don't think I need to add anything else. And once we have cooked those off, they will look very much like these little sort of courgette muffins here, and I've only got one to show you at the moment because I made some earlier and we ended up eating them all, so I managed to save one. They made 6, but they were absolutely molasses young, and I'll show you afterwards, as I said, how they fit into a nice healthy lunchbox. So I'm just going to pop those just over there, and we can get cracking with our recipe this afternoon. So, as I mentioned, we will need 150 grams of flour. Ideally, we'll be using self-raising, but I know that some supermarkets are still not stocking much self-raising, so I tend to use plain flour, and I add my own baking powder to turn it into a self-raising sort of flour. So all I'm going to do is per 75 grams or just under 3 ounces of flour, you need half a teaspoon of baking powder. So I'll need 1 level teaspoon for my 150 gram mix. And when I say a teaspoon, we're not looking for about that much. That will make your cakes sort of explode when they go in the oven, right? So we're just looking for a level teaspoon, and the way that I make sure that I've got a level teaspoon, as I've shown you before, is I just scrape it along the top just like that, and that means that you've got that nice level teaspoon just like that, and that will be enough baking powder in there to help your muffins to rise afterwards. So as with all of my muffin and cake sort of recipes, I like to have the dry ingredients and also the wet ingredients. That's my first dried ingredient. I'm then going to start to add some of the other dry bits. I've got 1 teaspoon of my mixed herbs, and that's going to add all that lovely flavour to our muffins. I've got my, that's not going to fit in, so I'll do it this way. I've got 1 teaspoon of my parsley. That's not going to add much flavour, but it's going to add lots of green sort of colour, right? So we've got that just there, and I've got my little bit of black pepper. We're not going to add any extra salt to this. The flavour and the saltiness is going to come from our cheese afterwards, right? So those are my main dry ingredients. Then I can concentrate on my other bits. So for my sun-dried tomatoes, I'm not going to mention where I got these from, but it was 79 pence, Aldi's, right? And they're already in an olive oil, and you can use this lovely oil for frying. We're actually going to use some of it in there as well, so don't waste your sun-dried tomato oil because it's really good to use. And I've just got 6 small pieces of sun-dried tomato, which I chopped up beforehand because I didn't want to waste time here chopping those up, right? So I've already chopped those up, or you could use a pair of scissors and just cut them down. For our courgette, as I've already mentioned, I've used half of it earlier, but literally all I'm going to do is I'm going to grate this courgette down, and that gives your little muffins a lot of moisture, because for some recipes, if I were making sort of courgette fritters or something like that, you might want to drain off the juice. However, with this one, we're just going to leave it all the juices in, and it keeps your muffins really, really nice and sort of moist, right? So I'm just carefully grating that down. And you can see when I'm grating, although I'm grating quite fast, I'm not going gratey, gratey, gratey. I am grating down, move away, grate down, move away, grate down, move away, grate down, move away, until we've got that little bit just there. And you can see that does generate. I'm just going to pop that over into my little washing up bowl. That generates quite a lot of our sort of courgette just there. And I'm going to tip all of that in. And for those people who aren't keen on courgette, I'm one of those people, right? However, when you do something to it, it does make it really, really tasty. So jam-packing it full of flavour, but it's also going to help towards our fibre-day as well. So I'm going to pop all of those in there just like that, and you can see that's starting to look super, super, super colourful. So those are my dry ingredients. The last job that I've got is I just need to mix those around just so, and that's all of my dry ingredients, right? Then I can concentrate on my wet ingredients, and for that we need to crack an egg. We need 90 millilitres of milk, and we need some oil. As I mentioned, you could use some vegetable oil, or what I'm going to use today is I'm going to use some of this sun-dried tomato oil to give it that lovely intense sort of flavour as well. Something that I have forgotten to add, just while I remember, to our dry ingredients is the cheese, right? So I've got 50 grams or 25 grams of cheese, which is just under our recommended daily amount, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to grate that in. The other little piece bit just here, I'm just going to grate on top afterwards. So I'm just literally going to grate that into my dry ingredients. I thought I was doing too well. So we've got all those bits just like that, and those are all my dry ingredients just there, and I promise you these are absolutely cowing lush, right? So I've got all those ingredients just there. Back to our wet ingredients, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crack my egg. And as I've mentioned before, there's lots and lots of ways of cracking an egg, okay? I see, you see on television, they crack it like that and they open it out. I've tried that a few times. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? Some other people will crack like that and they'll open it out, they'll do it on the table. Some people might do it on their heads just to show off. I would never do that because I'm not a show off, okay? However, the safest and the most hygienic way of doing it, I have found, is to hold it in your hand a little bit like a little cradle, okay? Then, using the back of a little knife, or my fork as it is today, I'm just going to do one little swoop. I can then get my fingers in and open it up like a little treasure chest. Because if you think about it, it is like treasure, isn't it? Eggs are so good for us, full of protein and really, really good for us. So we've got our egg just there, and then if you've got any bits of shell, you can pull them out just like that. Bear with me just one sec. I'm just going to give my hands a little wash just over here, and I've got a little bit of antibacterial gel just there, just to make sure that I don't get it all over the place. Then we have got our milk, right? Now we need 90 millilitres of milk. So on my sort of measuring jug is just under, obviously, the 100 mils, right? Another way of doing it, you could measure it that way, but another little handy way of doing it is if you've got a set of weighing scales, digital weighing scales at home, 90 millilitres is also equal to 90 grams, right? In terms of liquids. So all I can do is just pop that onto my little set of weighing scales, and I'll show you just there. Pop those onto your little set of weighing scales, make sure I press the 0, as I have, and then I can just pour in 90 mils or 90 grams of milk, and that will be equal to my 89, 90. and that will be equal to my 90 millilitres. So as long as you've got your set of weighing scales, it works really, really well. I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to try now, right, not to add too much, okay, with my oil. As I said, you could use vegetable oil. I've got my sun-dried tomato oil just here, and I need 30 millilitres, which is equal to 2 level tablespoons, or 30 grams, right? So I'm just going to pour that just into there, and this sun-dried tomato oil has got a lovely sort of golden colour, which will make your muffins nice and golden afterwards. So we've got those bits just in there, and I am going to try and keep my area nice and tidy. And you can see if I hold that up, you can see your golden sort of olive oil. It's got all that lovely flavour of sun-dried tomatoes. So I'm going to add my egg to that, and we have now got our wet ingredients. I'm going to beat up my egg. We've got our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients. Before I mix those up, I just want to talk a little bit about the types of tins, right? I'm today going to cook them in this little sort of muffin tin just here, because I want to show you how I would prepare this, okay? In the past, I have cooked them, lots of muffins in these little flexible muffin moulds, the small ones and also the larger ones as well, and they will just pop out of there. But I just want to show you how I would prepare these. If you haven't got muffin cases, don't panic, right? Because these savoury muffins are really, really good because they've got quite a lot of sort of fat in them in terms of the cheese, right? They won't necessarily stick, and as long as these are non-stick, that will be fine. So I'm just going to put a little bit of spray oil. If you haven't got spray oil, you can just brush it on. A little bit of spray oil. It says 1 cal, but you never spray 1 cal, do you? So into there, and that's now prepared, right? You don't have to do anything else to it. So I'm just going to pop that just there. And I can make myself a little well just like that, and now we're ready to pour it all in. So I'm going to pour that into my well just as so, and I'll just pop that just over here. And we want to do this quite quickly now because we've got that baking powder in there. It's going to start as soon as it hits the water or the liquid. It's going to start producing the carbon dioxide, so we need to work quite quickly. So I'm just going to mix this up, try and do that little figure of 8 until everything is combined. Now the difference between a muffin and a cake, right, is that a cake you would beat up so it starts to rise like that, where a muffin is a denser sort of texture. So you just need to make sure that you have mixed it just enough so that when you take off and pull your spatula down or your wooden spoon down, there's no flour left, right? So don't over mix because it will become too tough, right? Then all that we're going to do is I'm going to grab myself, going to do it from this side because I'm right-handed. Natural fact, I'm going to put that just there so you're able to see, right? I've got a little dessert spoon, and the way that I like to do it, a little bit on my spoon, and I scrape it off. A little bit on my spoon, and this will easily make 6 sort of muffins or 12 of those little mini muffins, and I promise you the mini ones are absolutely delicious. And sometimes when I have the mini ones, you feel as if you're having more. You can have 3 little mini ones, and that's still equivalent to just the 1 larger one, right? So I'm just going to pop all of those just into there, just like that. About 3/4 full. I might have been a slight overfiller just there, so I'm just going to move a little bit of that just over to there, and it'll still be absolutely delicious. Going to scrape that out just as so. And you have got that bit just there. I'm just going to pop those just over there so you can see those just like that. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the rest of our cheese. And although I have used 50 grams of cheese for this recipe, in one muffin you're not going to have all of that cheese, are you? So it's still quite healthy, right? So I'm just going to grate my cheese over. I know it's gone all over my baking tray, but that really doesn't matter at this point, right? Because then all you need to do is just spread all of that into there just like that. And as you know, I'm never quite precise when I'm doing my cooking, okay? Because I just love to chuck things in and let it do its job, right? So it will be quite rustic. Now then, these are going to bake in the oven now. If I show you those, These are going to bake in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 190 or gas mark 4, gas mark 4/5, 190 for about 20 to 25 minutes. If you've got a fan oven, you might want to drop it down to about 180, but I promise you when they come out, they will rise, they will go golden brown, the cheese would have melted, you'll have that lovely sun-dried tomato flavour, and I promise you these are absolutely blasses, yeah. So I'm just going to... And I'm back in the room. I hope you had a chance to go and grab yourself a nice little cup of tea, because now we have got our wonderful little healthy lunchbox. And these muffins, when they do come out of the oven, as I showed you earlier, I might get a plate to pop that on to start with. They will quite easily pop out of your little muffin mould, right? And you can see it's absolutely delicious. Now, if I was to cut this open, it will be absolutely glasses down. And I'll just cut that open just like that. Pop that back just there, and you can see you've got that lovely sort of sun-dried tomato and courgette in there. You can't actually see the courgette just there. Someone's just mentioned, Lisa Happy has just mentioned my little minion lunchbox. It's fab, isn't it? And it even wobbles like a little minion as well. That's why I was wobbling when I was pulling it over. So you've got your little muffin just there, and the great thing about these is you can make a large batch of these, freeze them down, okay? And then when you decide to go to work or you go to school, you can just pull one out for your lunchbox, and it'll keep everything nice and cool while it's defrosting until lunchtime as well. So I'm going to pop that as part of my little lunchbox just there. And thinking about a balanced sort of meal, I've got my little lunchbox and I've got my water just there, so we're going to keep ourselves nice and rehydrated. And I've got my little courgette muffin. In addition to that, I was thinking, how else can we start to incorporate lots of fruits and vegetables? So in addition to that, I've got some roasted red pepper hummus. There is a recipe for a roasted red pepper hummus on our website, or you could use some reduced fat ones that you can buy from the shops. And I'm going to serve that with some vegetable sticks, so some carrots and some peppers. In addition to that, to go with our hummus as well, I've got these little homemade tortilla chips, and that's basically a tortilla wrap which I cut up into little triangles, baked it off in the oven for 8 minutes, and you end up with these perfect little tortilla chips just like that, and they will last in an airtight container for up to a week. So you've got those ready for you to put into your lunchbox, and you can have it with salsa and things like that, and there's a recipe for our salsa on the website. So that's our savoury side of our healthy lunchbox. I've also got a reduced fat and reduced sugar sort of yogurt, and I've also got a portion of grapes which should obviously be cut into quarters, ready for us to eat as well. So that is quite a balanced sort of healthy lunchbox, and I'm going to try and be brave now. I'm going to try and hold that up just like that, so you're able to see, and you can see if I wobble the tray, my minion's even wobbling as well. So that brings us to the end of today's healthy cook along. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Don't panic, there is no more courgette recipes for now, right? I will be back on Tuesday to cook some more recipes with you, but in the meantime, enjoy your evening, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you next Tuesday for our next cook along. So diolch yn fawr iawn, and hwyl fawr.